our leaders, and it seems to be those who I would like to call strong alpha men. These men are out here single. These been the only one who I believe it was recently engaged. He's still a single man. He's engaged. Is RZA, but not too many of our leaders who have stepped up and they're advocating for our culture and our community. These men are out here single. So
I never thought about that.
yeah, these men are out here single because look at what it takes. Okay, so let's look at back in the day. Back in the day, you had let's just throw three common names that the average person would possibly know. Hope well, no, one they may not, but let's just throw two. We're going to throw Dr. King.
Okay, we know him.
We're going to do Malcolm X.
We know him.
We're going to do Medgar Evers. Now these were men that were pivotal, and they were our civil rights leaders. They took one for the team, and of course, look at how engulfed they had to be in order to be those fearless leaders that they were. But let's look at this for what it really is. Behind Dr. King, there was Coretta. Behind Malcolm, there was Dr. Betty. And behind Medgar, there was Myrlie. So you had your leaders of that time where these weren't women who were telling me, what about me? What about my needs? They understood their role, and they understood, okay, our husbands has been chosen. Their calling is greater than, just the average Joe.
That's true.
But these were women that supported their husbands. They took care of home. And if you read about these women, these weren't women when the husbands were marching that weren't there. They were right alongside of them. You had Myrlie Evers at the time, because you had Medgar Evers, who was the president of the NAACP in Jackson, Mississippi. She was a secretary. She was in the office, and because he wanted things to be somewhat professional, he always requested from her, referred to me as Mr. Evers, not Medgar, not Bay, not Boom, none of that. Betty Shabazz was right there in the trenches with Malcolm. So if Malcolm was speaking to the men, then you had Dr. Betty. At the time, we had Betty Shabazz. She was speaking to the women. These were not women who were just silent. And of course, anytime you see a lot of those pivotal marches that Dr. King led, Coretta is right next to him. So these are women who understood the agenda. They understood our husbands have been this is a calling. No, we don't necessarily like this, not necessarily because they're out of the home. They were putting their lives on the line.
I'm about to say it was the danger factor. Not the fact that they were out of the home, but the fact that they might not make it home.
Exactly. And unfortunately, none of those men made it to 40. But these were still women who were right there in the trenches. Now let's fast forward to 2023, as let's look at some of those men who openly speak out about our culture. Dr. Umar, David Banner, Christian Keys, RZA. RZA's the only one who, like I said, RZA recently got engaged. But you got three other men who are constantly putting themselves out there. These men are single. Why are these men? Where's the baddies? Where's the Corettas? Where's the Myrlies? Where are the women who understand their purpose? Your purpose isn't to be, so what about our trip to, Mexico? What about our trip? No, where are the women who understand that your men, your husbands are in the trenches? So take care of home. Make sure when they come home, things are this way, things are that way. So I'm sharing all that to say, in today's society, it seems like if you're a strong man, if you're an alpha man, you walk alone. Because what seems to be accepted are weak-minded men. This is what seems to be acceptable. But we can take that all the way back and we can say, well, let's look at what happened we look at more than ever, these households are ran by single mothers. There's no men in the household. So now, but now when you're having these sons, who's educating these boys? Who's teaching these boys how to be men? So now they're tapping into too much emotion. You have an emotional strength that the mother provides, and you have that logical strength that the father provides. But now you have these men, I'll say 30 and younger, are tapping way too much into the emotional strength where they're not tapping into a level of masculinity, which is why now every time you turn around, men are out here looking like gumps. Crying. Don't get me wrong. Okay, let me give a disclaimer. Right now. Black men or men, it is okay as a sister, as a strong alpha woman. And I'll explain to you a little bit more what alpha means, because we have a misconception. We believe that alpha means she don't need no man. No. That is far from the truth. We'll explain that later. But let me speak for the sisters. It is okay. Man, it is okay to show emotion. It is okay to hold your brand new baby and shed a tear. It's okay to experience a loss of a loved one, homeboy, homegirl, something, and to shed tears. That is okay. That is okay. So we don't ever want to create a world where it is not okay for men to express themselves.
But
however,
that world does exist though.
But like, however,
I mean, how many times has a woman, you know what I'm saying, if a man is really in that time of despair and need, woman be like, man up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Bernie Mac, you ever remember the episode of the Bernie Mac show where Jordan, it was Bernie, Jordan, and Vanessa's boyfriend? Mm-hmm. They were sitting on the sofa. And of course, because Bernie wasn't really feeling Vanessa having a whole boyfriend, but he liked this kid. So Bernie was like, let it out, because they were crying. And Bernie gave them 3 reasons. He thinks, listen. He said, listen, guys, let it out. They were watching a movie. And they were bawling. Bernie had tears going down his eyes. And he goes, fellas, it's three movies that are deemed appropriate for you to cry.
Is Imitation of Life one?
Right. His thing is anything with Cicely Tyson.
Okay.
Is anything with Cicely Tyson?
Okay.
He says Brian's song, which of course the whole bromance between Brian Piccolo and Gail Sayers. Bernie was big time Chi-Town, big time Bears fan. So every movie or whatever, he was going to let you know where he was from. And then there was another movie that It's a Wonderful Life, and because they were booed.
So Imitation of Life went on that list? Because that has got to be the saddest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Either Imitations of Life or It's a Wonderful Life. But of course, Bernie was giving them 3 movies that is okay, and you can still retain this manhood.
I think it's funny you said anything with Cicely Tyson, though.
Yeah, he said he was like, anything with Cicely Tyson.
Okay,
but now the problem is, now you have men crying at sunsets. Crying because, oh my gosh, my girlfriend won't text me back. It's like, what are you crying about? Now that's where,
and that's what I'm saying. So where is that median to where a man has that safe space to express himself emotionally?
I think it just depends on the generation. I'll be honest with you, because I want to say I want to say millennials and younger, they've kind of figured out some things maybe a little bit better than Generation X when it comes to, I guess, what they deem appropriate. But for me, I remember dating a guy. It didn't last long. And I'm gonna give a disclaimer. I'm a great person, but I can be a bit of a-hole, okay? So, just a little bit. So, dating this guy years ago, and he told me that he overslept and didn't get to work until maybe about an hour and a half late. And my thing is, oh my gosh, an hour and a half, I could see 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, but an hour and a half. I'm like,
hour and a half, hell, it's time to turn around and go back home, ain't it?
Exactly. But let me tell you why. So he said he woke up in the middle of the night, and it was an old black and white movie on. I want to say it was based on biblical times. I want to say, was it the love story between Solomon and Bathsheba, or it was no, that wasn't Solomon, but Bathsheba was his mother. So David and Bathsheba, I believe. It was a love story between them. And this guy said that he never understood and never realized how powerful love was. And he stayed up for 3 hours crying about the beauty of love, to the point where he overslept. When he finally went to sleep, he woke up late and made it to work an hour and 30 minutes. Now, I knew at that point this wasn't someone that I could submit to. I just knew.
Was it the being late for work part, or the fact that he cried at the beauty of love? Because
it was crying at a movie, like real tears, not just okay. For example, like the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman, when you have that scene at the church where the mother who was battling drugs, she comes in and she's singing. Yes, that movie, I kind of get a tear, and I know it's coming, but here come one tear, because hey, it's a beautiful thing to want to say, Lord, I need you. I can't do this by myself. It is a spiritual thing. You are not seeing things. Yes, it's a cat behind me.
Yeah,
you are not seeing things.
Like, look,
right. But I'm all for showing a level of emotion, but he cried like real tears at a movie, like so uncontrollable, where he could not tend to his business. No one died. No one, no one got shot. It was a movie. And he cried so much that he couldn't rest. And when he finally did rest, he overslept an hour 30. Now, he is in transportation. He worked for UPS, FedEx, one of them. So they have a time that they have to be on the road. So for that particular day, because he was so engulfed in tears, not that someone died, in tears, that he could not perform his duty. And as a man, you're the provider. So no one called and said, hey, someone that you love near and dear is no longer here. No one called and said that. You cried at a movie, like big tears. That wasn't someone that I could find myself submitting to. And I did not. I wished him well. I said, but no. Because my thing is, now
that's real. But you know what? That sentiment is the reason why men 40 and up are stroking out left and right, though. Like, if I can't get this out, where else is it gonna go?
Oh no, you can get it out, but okay, I guess for us. Now again, I grew up with one of the strongest men that walked the face of the earth. And I'm not just exaggerating. My daddy was there was no weakness in him, with the exception, his Achilles heel was my mother. It was his wife. That was his number one weakness, was his wife. Then his children. But his number one, if you ever want to see him take things to the next level and act a fool or anything like that, no, mess with his wife. That was his emotion. That was the woman that he trusted with everything. So of course, that's when you would kind of see a level of emotion. Now again, I'm not saying that if there is something weighing on you, don't get it out. Absolutely get it out. Get it out. And no, I'm not saying put a time on it. I'm not saying put a time on it. I'm not saying that, because you're a man, you can't walk around with this on you or that on you, because you're right. There are so many men in their 40s, especially us. There are so many men in their 40s who, if they did not make that trip to the doctor, they would have been dead, because blood pressure is just up, just out of whack, due to a level of stress and not feeling like they have anyone to go to, or them not feeling as if, the society gives them a space to be vulnerable. So,
but that's what I'm saying. As a black male, society does not give you that space.
But see, this is why it goes back to this is why we got to get back to the drawing board. And I am all for, I will give a disclaimer, I am all for loving whoever you feel love you. So if you feel like your better half don't look like you, if you feel like your better half looks like you, but maybe, same gender, whatever, if it floats your boat, let your boat float. But we need to get back to a society where Black women are taking care of Black men, and Black men find that joy, and they find that safe haven in the Black woman again. But right now, we are just so discombobulated.
I mean, yeah, we're pitted against each other, and that war still has not. It's no ceasefire in sight.
I mean, because again, let's look at what's going on. What we see in today's culture. In today's culture, the average woman who is in a relationship or is dating has the mind of a manipulator. You're going to do what I want you to do because I'm the woman. Versus understanding that there is absolutely nothing that man really should be required to do but just be a man. And that means whatever he brings to the table. So many times you hear so many women say, oh, I can't date a guy who won't bring me flowers. But if you look at the heifer's phone right now, she don't have not one florist saving her phone. Why? So why is it that men have to do something to win you over? See, so many women of today want traditional men, but they aren't traditional.
That's going to tie into what we're talking about today as well.
Our role as women is to really serve our men. And if you feel like, it's 2023, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, then fine. Then you're not trying to tap into the solution. The problem is too many of our men who are out here speaking up for our culture, fighting for our culture, putting themselves out there. But when they go home, who's there? These are men who still got to go home, make their own food, do their own laundry. And I'm not saying that you need a woman for that, because that's called being an adult.
It's just one of those things that go home alone.
They go home alone versus, oh, excuse me, my daddy, that joker didn't do nothing. When I tell you nothing, and not NOTHING, no NUFFIN, that man didn't do nothing when he came home. Why? My father worked sometimes 14, 16-hour days, long days. Of course, those hours began to, decrease as he got older and we got older, because of course, not a whole lot at that time was necessary or needed because we were all adults. That's when his hours decreased. But my father worked long hours, and we were raised in an environment where my mother says, I wish you all would. And I grew up all sisters. So there were no men in the house but my daddy.
But dad, right.
That was it. So my mother would look at us and say, I wish you all would let that garbage pile up, thinking that my husband gonna come home, working the 16-hour day, and you all waiting for him. You better get that trash up out my house. We took out trash, we raked leaves, we shoveled the snow, we cut grass. You know what daddy did when he got home?
Worked. Well, no, I mean when he got home,
Nothing.
probably recovered from working 16
He was
hours.
recovering from work. And you know what was so funny? Growing up, even now at my age, and I think back on my childhood, I never thought my father was lazy just because he came home. And when he came home and got settled, and we kind of brought him, brought him his soda, brought him water, or handed him the remote, or my mama put his food next to him, and then I want to pick up the plate, take it in there. Why? We never thought our father was lazy inside the house.
Because you think about it, the man left the house at 5 a.m. He didn't get home to 7 p.m. Like, there's no laziness in that.
There was no, and then oh my gosh, when my sister Kim worked downtown Chicago, she took a job that had her reporting at the Mercantile Exchange 5 a.m. My daddy was a real daddy. His thing is, I don't want one of my, and she didn't drive, and his thing, I don't want one of my kids on a bus stop 3 a.m. He would get up and get her to work. Meaning now he is cutting his sleep by an hour and a half to drive all the way downtown Chicago, drop her off just to get to, then he would get to work. So this was his Monday through Friday routine. So it was a privilege to us to assist our mother in serving our father. He was truly our little king to us. He truly was. When he came in, it was pretty much, yay, daddy's here. Let's work together. Let's work with mama to get daddy together. Everything was laid out. Everything was laid out. So and again, there was nothing. We never felt like, oh, we slaves. It was a privilege for us as Parker women to assist and learn from my mother as she took care of her husband. That was a privilege. So now in 2023, where has this gone? I mean, why are we at a place now where a man, okay, let's play around with a topic. Why are we so comfortable with men impregnating us, but they can't speak on our character?
I mean, we gonna get into that too.
They can't give us the male's perspective on certain. They can't provide a level of protection, but we're okay with them impregnating us. We're okay with them making baby mothers and not wives. We're okay with that because we INDEP all that foolishness.
I never liked this song.
But yet, it's just crazy. 2023 is a mess. What have we created by subscribing to the system that the man was not supposed to be in the house? Look at what we've created. And what are we going to do?
That wasn't by accident.
Of course it wasn't by accident.
That was more so an attempt at generational conditioning. And now that we look at it, we're about, what would you say, maybe 3 generations removed from that movement, and it worked. Oh, it did what it was supposed to do.
Oh, it did. It did.
It did what it was supposed to do. Yo, but before we go any further, man, yo, I know y'all looking at that red box in the corner. Yeah, it's been running about 23 minutes.
Good. We've been talking.
It's been running about 23 minutes, yo. But y'all are tuned in to a Tuesday night edition of the Planning Period with your host, 2-time ATL's hottest DJ, the God DJ Agony, also known as Dr. Dope. And I got this young lady with me who is the other half of the Planning Period.
Well, good evening, everyone. Miss Parker here, just ready to go ahead and kick off some good information with you and just chop it up on these topics that we have today.
Yes, indeed. I got some folks checking in the chat, man. I got my brother Christian Hollins, aka DJ Four Stripes. What up, Sarge? Says she's right though. So many men carry excessive feminine energy and it drives me crazy, dude. It's real. It's real. And it's the younger ones. My brother Jihad Yusuf in the building, peace to the God. He Also, this is the host of Humanity Works podcast. Definitely go check him out. Well, just whenever you get to check him out. I don't even remember the dates. Yo, I put the date and the time in the chat. He said this is one conversation not being talked about. Intelligence is a penalty with the average black woman. Being heterosexual is a penalty with the average black woman. If you are purpose driven, you are a turnoff. That's real. That's real. I got my boy Scoot Jones in the building. What up, boy? We back in the building. What's up, Agony? Miss Parker, Corey's Heavenly Cakes. Hey, definitely go check that ad out. He is adding more than cakes to the menu, y'all. So it's
Okay.
been cookies, muffins, all kind of stuff going on, man. So definitely go check in with him because, like I said, the menu's growing. I got me Kang in the building. What's happening with you? She is definitely on point. That's why she sits right there. I mean, had nobody on the other side of the screen just talking crazy, like, oh yeah, it is good. Nah, not here on the dope show. But appreciate you coming through, stopping through. It's one of your neighbors right there. It's Chicago raised.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, ain't nobody in Chicago no more. Everybody here now.
I
it's,
guess.
it's like 8 people in Chicago right
I'm
now.
gonna be somewhere with a megaphone. Go back. It ain't what you think it is.
I'd have told y'all that for y'all got
Man, listen.
for y'all got here. But yeah, so it came to me, and I've just been watching this. I'm looking at the whole thing play out with Kiki Palmer, and I really wish I could remember dude name. I hate to keep calling him Kiki Palmer baby daddy, but
I'm gonna Google it real quick. Hold on.
they
Go ahead.
they have been riding this young man for about we going on 2 weeks now, and it's one of those type things where I felt like it had kind of got ran in the ground. I wasn't gonna touch it, but then afterwards, I kept seeing brothers. Well, I kept seeing men day after day just taking L's on the internet, taking L's on the
Yeah.
internet. And so I was just like, yeah, I was gonna leave him alone. But what he started was a avalanche of men taking L's on the internet. So I'm like, well, now if you throw it in my lap like this, I can't do nothing but run with it. She
Okay, Chi-Town, I see you. I see you, Mrs. King.
mid kind. But so I couldn't not touch on these. Like it was one of those things where it has to happen. And the first one I really want to jump into because this was a mess waiting to happen. Podcast host Adam 22 decided that he was gonna, I guess, for lack of a better term, give his wife permission
Mhm.
to do a guy on girl scene. His wife is an what do you call it, adult entertainer, I guess.
The entertainment industry, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, she be making the movies though.
Okay.
So he allows her, quote unquote, to do because normally she's known for girl on girl scenes.
Okay.
But he gives her permission to do a guy on girl scene. And the guy in question is a brother named Jason Love,
Okay.
who has, as of late, been describing their scene. And it's one of those things where I haven't seen it, but I'm just hearing it from interviews that it was pretty rough on her. Like, trying to be a visual aid, just think of like trying to park a limo in a one-car garage type deal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Got you.
Um and so with her completing said scene, Adam 22 said, "Hey, for a gift, I will give you a Lamborghini." And he gave this woman a Lamborghini.
Forgetting, hold on. Okay. He
Yeah.
gifted his wife
Hmm.
a Lamborghini for getting through the scene with, you said Jordan Love,
Jason Love.
Jason Love,
Hmm.
because I'm guessing based off of uh your quite proper description that he is endowed. Okay, so getting through this scene, so he gives her a trophy, which is a Lamborghini.
Right.
Okay,
So now that Jason Love's doing interviews, Adam 22 is upset. He's putting out that, oh, I'm going to expose the truth on you and I'm gonna tell on you. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't know what there is to tell. I mean, there's a whole tape of him
Being,
mowing the lawn with your wife.
well, let's go back to issue number one. You know what you married. Case closed. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't be upset at a lawyer practicing law. You wouldn't be upset at a police officer carrying a gun. Maybe even firing that gun every now and then because it comes with the territory. You decide that not just date, but marry, like give her a full-on covenant.
Mm-hmm.
You decide that you are going to marry a woman who is in the adult entertainment industry, and whether or not she's known for and whether or not she's known for maybe girl on girl, her whole business, everything that the average man would kind of want to keep private about his wife, she's letting the world see. All you got to do is just put in a link and bam, there she is. What did you expect? I mean, there's just not a level of decorum that goes along with certain positions. No pun intended. So, I mean, let's just be real. So now, because this man is kissing and telling, okay, I mean, it kind of goes with the territory. Now, I'm not saying that this gentleman doesn't have a right to maybe be upset, but I don't know. I mean, this is not one that I mean, it comes with the territory. It's just like when I hear men say, "Oh, well, I met her at a strip club."
Well,
and here's my thing. That kind of goes along lines of, you know how sometimes men will say to women, out of all the men, you have 50 states in the US, and out of all the men that very well might be walking freely within one of those 50 states, you believe your soulmate is incarcerated.
Wait, what?
It was a guy, I saw him on social media. He put that on his page where out of all the men who walk the earth, who he just said, let's focus on the United States. Out of 50 states that compile the United States of America, you as a woman believe out of all these states with all these men, you believe your soulmate is incarcerated. So the question was, out of all the men on the earth, you gonna date somebody who freedom is in jeopardy or has no freedom? It's like,
there is no freedom to be
even
in jeopardy.
So it goes back to out of all the women who are in various stages of life, you can find them at Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, QT, eating the taquito. Everybody know I love taquitos. In different colleges, different career paths, working jobs, and careers. You believe your soulmate is a porn star. Unless you are in that industry too, how does that work? Even if you don't necessarily want to tap into the Bible, but the Bible speaks about being unequally yoked. So, I mean, look at Hugh Hefner. Look at the people Hugh Hefner was marrying and dating. Playboy bunnies. Right. He was Mr. Playboy. He was Mr. Playboy himself. So, I mean, so already you're unequally yoked. Now, I've seen different things on television or different things about men and women in the adult industry who found one another and, married each other, and then they became one another's biggest supporter. Okay, so they have found a match made in whatever for them. But how are you working a typical whatever. Your wife is in the adult entertainment industry, and you're upset because someone is kissing and telling. Here it goes back to me saying, as a husband, you allowed it.
Yeah, you allowed it.
You
But
allowed it.
the thing is, the man really didn't have to sell nothing. Like you said, it's free now. You just go on the internet,
It's free.
couple of buttons, hit a couple of links, and blah. Now we seen it all. And she's talked about it as well. Like so now, like I said, he's upset now. Mick King said the husband cannot get upset after he okayed it and not expect either participant to advertise for more views.
Because,
Exactly. And then Adam
because this
22 hosts a podcast. All you're doing is talking. Your
because
job is to talk.
this is what you do. But see, again, now let's go back to what type of environment did he grow up in? Did he have someone of a male masculine figure that was in his ear saying that you need is a certain way you need to run your household? There are certain things that just should not happen in and out of your presence. It goes back to a conversation that I had with a young man recently, and he was telling me something that I guess he was trying to discredit a young lady who's in my life. He was trying to discredit this young lady, or trying to prove to me that she's not always upfront about certain things. So this is a young lady, this is they're a couple. So he was pretty much snitching. He was trying to discredit her. But what he didn't understand is coming from a woman, coming to a woman like me. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have the messy Jessies who are out here who want to hear what you have to say. But a woman of my caliber, you're telling me, oh, she does this, she does this, she does that. The question that I had for him was, well, if she does all these things in your presence, why haven't you made correction? Oh, that's just going to be an argument.
Yeah, because
Instantly at that point.
my next question is, so what do you do?
Exactly. So while you're sitting back and you're seeing that she's doing things that clearly rub you the wrong way or don't settle your spirit properly, but now you're so quick to want to discredit her. Honestly, you took an opportunity to want to maybe downplay her, but you made your own self like a jackass.
Right. You kind of like a sucker right now.
It really, because now it's like, okay, so am I supposed to be angry at her and say, no, 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 this is what I've heard you doing? Or am I supposed to look at you sideways like, either you're a man or you're a man?
I'm be honest with you, both.
Yeah, but if these things are happening, if there are things that disturb your spirit and they're happening in your presence, and as a man, as a human, forget the gender for a second, as a human being, as an adult, you don't speak up, then in my opinion, you took part. So you don't have a right, you don't have a right to speak on anything that she does. Even if she has subscribed to the Jackass of the Month Club, you don't have a right to speak on it, even if you haven't tapped into your adulthood and said, not in my presence. No, no, no. You're not going to do that. That's going to impact your children in a different way. If you're going to just sit there and just look, you took part in it. So while you're pointing one finger at her, food three coming back at you. And right now, as much as I can say, I might like you as a person, but I know right now if I kick you in the chest, my foot gonna come out the back. Because there ain't no backbone there. Ain't nothing there. There's nothing there that's gonna stop that foot from coming all the way through the back. Because you what we call a jellyback. SpongeBob jellyfishes. I guess women of today they jellybacks. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Jellyback. That is insane.
That's
I got nothing.
Jellyback.
I got nothing for that one. So one of our exactly, closed mouth don't make no change, but say something.
Absolutely.
Say something.
I mean, because let's be real, men and women, we're both territorial. Let's just be real. We're territorial about who we love and who we believe belongs to us. So You are a man who is not in the adult entertainment industry, but you choose to want to not just date or fool around with. You have married, you've given her last name, covenant, all that stuff with this woman, but this woman is still doing what she wants to do. She is, because in her mind, this is her job, and very well so. Versus you just allow that should have been fling of the month, and you should have moved along because she's not in position to. I'm not going to say she's not in position to be a wife, but she's not in position to be the kind of wife you require.
She in position. Real
She's not.
Yeah, she is. I heard about the tape. She was in position.
But here's the thing. But there are so many men in the industry as well. So team up. That goes back to people. That goes back to Samore, her little silly butt. And I think I said this before on the show, where Samore believes certain kind of people should just date certain kind of people.
That's
she
true.
she said she believes people who don't pay their car notes should date the repo man. So certain people should just date certain people. If you are in an adult entertainment industry, you need to date people within that industry because you all understand that job. I couldn't date anybody in the adult entertainment industry because why? I don't really want what I have at home to be on display. And that's not what I choose to do. However, I'm not going to knock anybody from making the money that they feel they have to make in the way they choose to make it. But you do have to be equally yoked. You got to walk with like-minded people. So if he's out here on his show looking like a gump, now that's on him. Then you turn around and buy her one of the most expensive cars because she successfully got through a scene. Yeah, dog. That's not strange.
And to answer your question, Sarge, it was the SUV.
Oh, well, there you go.
Right, yeah, the Lambo SUV, which they call it an SUV, but it really just looks like a tall car. But nonetheless, that's what you bought. So we're talking about probably $250,000 car.
Yeah, all because you successfully got through a scene with someone that probably can't match up to your husband. Okay, I'm buy your Lambo. So again, I mean, I'm sorry. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I have no tears for him because it comes with the territory. Sorry, sir.
I mean, just kind of make you, it's ego. You know what I'm saying? This white guy kind of got your woman be with this giant black guy.
But here's the thing.
And now it's just like it's running through his head. I'm telling you, it sounded cool at first, and he's probably thinking about the money that was gonna make from it, and this, that, and the third. And now that it's being talked about, and you got to think it's not just the people talking about it in the media or in social media. It's the people that's probably in his family. I bet you his brothers probably called him like, "Hey, man,
but
seeing that dude and your wife, man, you all right? You need me to bring a beer over or something? You good?"
But let's look at slavery times. Let's look at what was one of the first things whenever you decided you wanted to teach a black man a lesson, or if you were going to lynch this black man. What was the first thing they did? Cut off his manhood. First thing they did was to do everything they could to just completely demasculate him. Completely. So now the very thing that it seems like so many cultures seem to enjoy, and that is the black man's toy. Now someone now is calling you and they're telling you about this scene, and now you have to see it with your own eyes, and you don't feel maybe as a man I measure up literally. Yeah, you're going to feel some kind of way about that, but you gave her the okay, and you're dating someone that is not in your league, sir. If you want the kind of wife that was going to comply to certain things, then There are so many industries. You could have found a woman who works at AT&T, T-Mobile, worked for American Express, Delta, American Airlines, you name it. There's so many different agencies and career entities you could have tapped into. You decided that you wanted to subscribe to 1-800 but this is what comes with it. And then you want to reward her? Hey, I mean,
yeah. You looking extra simp with extra simp on
yeah,
top.
yeah.
Absolutely. My brother Jihad Yusef said he's loving the conversation. Oh, tomorrow night, 7:30 at Stronghold. They're hosting the summer league basketball games. My brother's also a basketball coach. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely. And he's invited us out. I went last week just kind of on a humbug, but he's invited the show out. So
Where's Stronghold? Where is that?
it is on 124 going towards Snellville.
Is that Lithonia?
The Latonia,
124.
yeah,
Okay.
Latonia going towards Snellville, yeah.
Okay.
Matter of
Okay.
fact, Stonecrest, Turner Hill area. But
Got you.
going the other way.
Okay.
But yeah. I went down there and checked out some went down there and checked out some good summer league ball. You know what I'm saying? My brother need to calm down a little bit. I seen you get that tech last week. It was kind of funny actually. I was just like, it wouldn't have been my brother Jihad if it wasn't a tech thrown at him. But
Man, listen.
all in all, it was some good ball though.
Okay, man, listen. I've coached and I refed. I have gotten texts and I have given them. It comes with the territory.
Yes, indeed. So one of our favorite couples to talk about on this show has popped up yet again. This time in a different kind of at a different angle. So we often bring up Russell and Sierra, right?
Oh Lord.
Russell and Sierra. But this time it ain't even their fault. Russell and Sierra they ain't do nothing this time. But Sierra's ex did. So Future has a new song with Quavo called Turn Your Click Up, where in the song he says, I got it out the field, fuck Russell. Now I had to look it up. Future and Sierra have been broken up since 2014. 2014 now. So we talking about almost 10 years.
Okay.
You still mad, cuz?
It's not okay. Let me see. Let me think about okay. I have one ex that I know of who is married with 2 children. The last time that we were together 2004. It is 2023. I have zero emotions about what he has going on. I wish him well. I mean, he's still very much attached to my family because his best friend is my first cousin's husband.
Ooh,
But
say that 3 times fast.
yeah, so his best friend is my cousin's husband. So he's still very much attached. He's still uncle this guy, uncle that guy, godfather to their children. He's very much that guy. But I have zero feelings about whatever he has going on. And and I'm one of those people that I wish all my exes the best. I don't have an enemy in any ex, not one. So I don't care what he has going on. Why? Because he has no connection to me. I don't have a connection to him, or we still don't have a physical commonality. I'll say that. Now, if I was still available to him and he has moved on with his beautiful wife and they've had children, but yet the door is still open for me to dib and dab, I would have all the emotions that I could possibly have about that situation because why? The door is not closed.
Right.
2014 to 2023 gives you 9 years.
That's 9 years.
It takes the average person 23 days research has shown 21 days to form a habit, 30 days to break it. Which, so now, if we look at 9 years, in 9 years, if there has been, in 9 years, if you are still upset, if you're still taking jabs, and you're still saying different things, she has left the door open. Because one thing I have not seen, and the reason why I'm going to say this is, one thing I have not seen yet from Miss Ciara, Russell has gone back and forth with Future. Future has gone back and forth with Russell. I have yet to see Ciara step up and say, hey, this is my husband. You are my ex. This is our commonality. Our commonality is Future Jr. That is it. I have yet to see little sis open her mouth and settle it. And the reason why is because I truly believe the rumors. The door is still open. It takes the average person 21 days to form a habit, 30 days to break it. You don't mean to tell me he couldn't get past this?
3 days.
He could have gotten past this in 30 days. He's had other children. He's had other women. He has gone out there and done his futuristic thing. He has created other children, but there is still a door that is still somewhat open. Check it. Mariah Carey, Nick Cannon. Nick will sit back every now and then. Now he has created this whole village of beautiful children for whatever reason with all of these different women, and he has let these women know, I'm not going to be your only. You're not going to be the only. I'm not your man, but I'm going to take care of you and take care of my children. He has agreements with these women. However, look at some of the jokes that still come out on Wild 'N Out. Most things, now people are now cracking jokes about, how many kids he has, but most things are still the attack on him, Mariah. There's somewhat a door that's still open.
You're talking about with Nick and Mariah?
Yes.
I think it's because she's out of all the mothers of his children, she's the most recognizable.
But no, I don't think it's that. That was his wife.
But because before Mariah, they roasted him about Christina Milian.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Mariah. Because
Mariah was the longest. They were married. And like I said, out of all the people, she's the one with the bigger name.
But also, too, look at it, too, with all the jokes, they managed to get her on the show. Remember that time she walked up like, I'll shut all this down. And the audience had a good laugh out of it. There's a door that is still open because even she's hinted around certain things and he has hinted around certain things. But I don't think Mariah is trying to subscribe to his tribe. If it was just...
She already did. She had the first 2 editions.
She had the first 2, but that was a family. She had the first 2. He's just out here doing X, Y, and Z. But I'm just saying that it's easy to push a button when it comes to Mariah because there's still somewhat a door open. I just don't believe, and again, I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong. But I just don't think Miss Ciara has shut that door. Because at any time, now, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that you as a woman can tell a man what to do. But what I will say is there are 3 people who have that. I'm going to say men, 2 men and a son, 2 men and a child that all have the XY chromosome that you love or you have a connection to. Your ex, your son, your husband. So at some point, you will come together and say, look, I need you to be able, I need you all to squash this. Because at the end of the day, he's going to get older and he's going to see this. It's not about you, Future. It ain't about you, Russell. Future Junior is going to get older one day and he is going to see my father and my bonus father acting a fool. and over what? She has yet to say that. And her absence, you know how is no response is a response?
No response
Her
is a response,
response
right?
is making me think you ain't closed that door, sis, because you, at the end of the day, yes, you can get another husband. And I love Russell. You can get you another husband, get your little baby or whatever. But that's your son. That's your son. And we're not putting him over your husband. But what we're saying is you have a responsibility to bring him up the best way you can. Because if Russell walks away tomorrow, you are still mama.
Right. You're
You
still
still,
responsible for that son.
right. You still have to take care of this child. And Future is not signed. He has not signed away his father's rights. Russell hasn't adopted him. So this is Future. This is very much Future's child. He hasn't walked away. So with that, you have a responsibility to make sure that that child experiences what both those men have to offer. Now, Future don't want to do right. If he doesn't want any part of his son's life, being a part of his son's life, okay, fine. But what makes it look terrible is that Russell goes back and forth with him too. You know, Russell every now and then will, you know, he don't flash money, but he very much made it known. I think once he got his bonus for his contract, he's still with the Seahawks, and he pretty much stated that he had enough in a sense to take care of all the future baby mamas that he wasn't necessary. So Russell hasn't taken the high road always.
I wouldn't
So,
either.
so
I don't blame him.
these men go back and forth because there is a door. It's a revolving door. That door is not closed. That door is not closed. And of course, you have some people who are saying that is it a known fact that she's never said anything? Well, here's the thing. No, I'm not going to say that it's not a known fact, but typically
everything else is happening. My thing is with everything else happening in public, I don't see that being a behind closed doors situation.
Exactly. Okay, like perfect. Like you know the example. A lot of people may not know this, but based off of these two men, you wouldn't expect anything less. Before Deion Sanders became exceptionally close to Tracy Edmonds, before they grew into this phenomenal couple, I love them together. Deion sat down and had a talk with Babyface. He sat down man to man and had a conversation with him. Why? Because his thing is, I'm going to be around your sons. I'm going to be, hopefully, a part of your son's life. Now, you could tell by the way you see Tracy and Babyface's sons interact with Primetime, you could tell that a conversation of some kind took place. Because why? Babyface is, come on now, Mr. Producer himself, you never seen him take a jab at Primetime. Never. I think it was on one episode when Deion had his show where they were at home and a Babyface song came on and he went, oh, heck no, you know Prime don't curse. He went, oh, heck no. And she started laughing. But that was it. It was a joke. But you can tell.
I'm sure Babyface even laughed at that as well.
Exactly. Because you can tell based off of the fact that there is no public drama that something happened behind the scenes. And Tracy is beautiful. Tracy's beautiful. And she still walks around with her husband's surname. She's not Tracy Sanders yet, or she didn't drop her maiden name. She dropped her married name. She is making her money as Tracy Edmonds. That is Babyface's last name. Yeah. So, and this is how Deion, this is how Primetime met her. You don't hear about drama with them. The door's closed. So even if it's not known that a conversation has taken place, you would kind of see ducks kind of get in a row. If it did.
Yeah.
Sierra ain't said nothing. She hasn't. There's no.
You could tell she hadn't said anything.
There's no.
And maybe it's because, you know, once again, they're relevant. We're talking about them again. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I mean, if you hadn't had a hit in since what you say 09,
Uh-huh.
maybe I'll give you 2010 as a stretch. She hadn't had a hit since then, so it's like what else is gonna keep her name relevant?
But let's be real. Right now, out of the three of them, who's really relevant? She her musical career right now is not where it used to be.
Right.
Future doesn't seem to be too relevant, and since
See,
Russell has said "I do"
Future
to her,
he just dropped this new song.
right? But ever
Right.
since Russell has said "I do" to her, good grief, his career ain't. He hasn't. He has not produced at the level that he
I give
produced.
I give him a pass last year because it was a new team, new system, whole new everything. Like it is stuff like that can't be learned in just a 17-week season. Like it takes a full year to actually learn your new system.
I agree, but prior to him getting to a new system, he was stinking up the place with Pete Carroll.
Oh, in Seattle.
Oh, he was stinking up the
Oh,
place for a
oh
minute.
yeah. I mean, we know that team was built on that defense, but
Oh
when
yeah,
you but when
but
your defensive coordinator comes to work for the Cowboys, what do you do?
like I said, but if you look at his stats after he said "I do," they have been plummeting. So, not trying to blame Miss Sierra, but right now the storyline for the three of them is one another.
Irrelevance.
Yes, their their storyline, Russell's storyline is Future. Future storyline is Russell. Sierra sitting right smack dab in the middle because it's a door that's still swinging. You can tell. She don't have to ever come out. She could very well be surfing YouTube right now and see that we are live. And she, sis, my door closed. No, she could very well see this and say, "Well, how do you know, Miss Parker?" Clearly, because those ducks are not in a row.
They are not.
They're not. They're just not. Now, of course, you have people who are on Future side because there were plenty of men. There were plenty of men when the idea of possibly Russell adopting his son, when that came out, there were plenty of men who are single fathers who, have literally gone through the system, jumped through hoops to be there for their children, to say, heck no, you don't take that man's child away from him. So Future has his people. He has his people. He has his fans who are rocking with him. Russell has his fans. But at the end of the day, I smell a dead cat on the line.
Mm-mm.
That door's open. That door is open.
I
So,
think
and
what was interesting about it too, the argument that came about when she went to the what was that? Was that the Met Gala
yeah,
with the see-through dress on and whatnot? Which kind of segues into our other couple because these folks here is a mess and they young too, they in public, so now we know y'all business. So Kiki Palmer's baby daddy, whose name I still don't know. I think it's
it's
Darius or
it,
something.
yeah, it's Darius Jackson.
That's a very ethnic name.
Yeah, Darius Jackson.
Del Darius Jackson. He sounds like he's in the fourth period of every class ever. Like everybody, there's a Darius Jackson everywhere.
He definitely sounds like that kid. They'd be like, "Darius not here. Where he at?" Type of thing.
Let me call it how Darius ain't never not at school.
Right.
Yeah, but so I think where Mister and for anybody who's missed out on this piece of news, what ended up happening was Sierra goes to the Usher concert in Vegas, and Usher got the singing on her real good because I mean that's what Usher does.
Hmm.
Um, and she's there in this fishnet type situation with a one piece under it. It's really not much to the imagination. You can kind of it don't take much to put that one together, y'all. So the Darius um he went to Twitter to complain about this.
Yeah.
The reason why this is an L, let's just start right there, dude. You went to Twitter You went to Twitter. That's not cool. Like, no. Because see, the thing is, you went to Twitter in an attempt for, I guess, public embarrassment.
I think he
Now, if your woman really wanted to publicly embarrass you, oh, she was already there half naked with Usher. She could have really turned it up a notch and embarrassed your goofy ass. Now, my thing is this right here. If he puts out this statement, and I got it saved to where it's along the lines of, we live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother of his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case. First word that stands out is wife. You ain't married Kiki, dude.
right,
That's your BM right now.
right.
Well, actually, you're her BD right now because nobody knows you. Apparently, his last name is Dalton, Darius Dalton.
I thought it was Jackson. Okay, well, I googled it and it sure gave up Darius Jackson.
See, they Google don't even know you, bruh. You and then not only that, there is a tweet that resurfaced from like some time back after saying she has this baby to where he's recording her shake in the camera.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that so that's a problem because Usher gonna make your woman fold.
well,
Yeah,
okay. Let,
yeah.
let, let me start off. Now there is an image that I'm sure because Kiki Palmer's father name is Larry. Larry is a twin. His twin brother's name is Lamont. My sister's best friend for the last, oh my gosh, a billion years on this planet is married to Lamont Palmer. So I remember there's an image of me in my 20s with my niece on my lap at their wedding at Lamont and my sister's best friend named Cecilia at their wedding. So I'm holding my niece, and there's another baby right here that's on this other leg. That baby's Kiki.
Mm.
So I'll just say Kiki has always been kind of open about her battles with like acne and image and things of that nature.
Hmm.
So I think for the one of the first times in her life, motherhood really did something.
It did a good.
It did its job
Yeah,
because
right.
the skin is clear.
Uh huh.
She's a little more
She took.
shapely in
She,
different areas.
she definitely took
So
her now.
so I think for her it's something she's not used to. Because you never because I do know like she comes from a very good family. She does. She comes from a very good family, and she comes from a mother who would tell her to put it away. What are you doing? She comes from that family, and they're a tight knit family. But for me, because I remember her as a baby, and then when she started acting, I remember Cecilia calling us saying, "Hey, my niece is auditioning," and you would look up, and here comes her on Tyler Perry, and then you see her. Then she's Akilah for Akilah and the Bee, and kind of go on and on. So
Hmm.
to kind of watch her grow up and to be very open and very transparent about insecurities, about what she battled with, and motherhood did some things to her that she wasn't used to. She wasn't used to this thickness. She wasn't used to this level of sexiness. She wasn't. She wasn't. Now she's always been beautiful in her
Hmm.
own way,
Hmm.
but she ain't never been sexy. So I think what has happened is I think she has now found herself adjusting to something that she's never experienced before. Because now, every time you turn around, somebody is posting an image of Kiki. Ooh, Kiki this, Kiki that. Where at first, if it wasn't Beyonce or if it wasn't Rihanna or somebody like that, now Kiki is
Hmm.
starting to get that level of attention. And is foreign to her. She's still young. It's
She is young.
foreign. It's foreign to her. So this was not, and that's what, and again, I'm not giving Darius a pass.
Oh no,
But,
I'm here to roast Darius ass.
right. But this is the Kiki, the Miss Kiki that the world is seeing now is not who he dated. It's not who he was engaged to. He met and became engaged to the Kiki that bared her insecurities. This was the woman who would talk about her battles with acne, or her battles with her hair, her image. So she was very open about some insecurities to kind of give other women the platform to speak up and say, hey, we're not perfect, love us, flaws and all. Now to me, she did it in a way where I could say, okay, because now you do have, there's some artists who every song they have is about an insecurity, and it's like, good grief, who hurt you, the type of thing. But Kiki was really kind of giving a platform, to women to say, look, we're not perfect. I take off this makeup, these lashes, you're going to see flaws. But that motherhood kicked in, and now stuff started shaking. Wait a minute, I got this. Wait a minute, I got that. Oh my gosh, look, everybody. It's kind of like when a little girl goes through puberty, and the first time she get her little bacon bits, and she goes, look, daddy, look. And he's like, put your shirt down, because she's so happy about it. She's to show the world. That's what has happened to Kiki.
Bacon bits.
That is what's happened. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at a young woman who has said, oh my gosh, motherhood left me sexy. Look, everybody, look at my booty. She's never had a booty. She sat on my lap. She had a little elbow, but her little booty hurt. So she's never been curvy. Now she is. So now we all know who she is. We all know that she has the name in the relationship, and we all know that, okay, she seems to be this doting mother of this beautiful little boy, and she's very happy about being a mother, but she's very happy with the blessings motherhood gave her. She's not used to it. So when you're not used to a level of sexiness, the first thing to do is to kind of get naked. Remember on Nutty Professor? Remember when Sherman went from Sherman to Buddy Love?
Right.
And as soon as Sherman lost all that weight and became Buddy, what's the first thing he says? He wanted all spandex. I want all spandex, because he wanted to show off.
Right.
It's the same concept. So now what has happened, you have Darius already feeling like, you know what? People don't know who I am. I'm not just Darius Dalton or Darius Jackson or whoever the hell he is. I am Kiki's baby daddy.
That's all you, but that's the thing. That's all you are.
I don't even have a name. I am Kiki's baby daddy. So not the father, not her fiance. I am Kiki's baby daddy. So
I didn't know they were engaged.
Yeah, they were engaged. So not baby Leo's father. I am Kiki's baby daddy. I am Mr. Palmer. Yep. Technically, I am. So my identity is relevant to her. Yep. She has the platform, I don't. But now she is going through a real life change, because she has tapped into something that she's never tapped into. You've never seen Kiki out here showing cleavage and booty, because she didn't have it to show. She has tapped into a level of confidence or a level of beauty that she felt she didn't have. And now she has it. And let's be real, she likes what the blogs are saying about her. She likes the attention. You even have the game. Out of all people, the game was like, I don't care what nobody said. That Kiki Palmer finer than the MF. The game ain't too bad on the eyes. So now you have people who are checking for you. They didn't check for you before. And that's a level of attention that she's not used to. Because who else?
Mm.
Because who else do you know, or have we known her to be attached to? We knew about a slight scandal between her and Trey Songz, where they were friends, and it was something that kind of went left. But you didn't see Kiki on the arm of this guy, this guy, this guy, that guy. Not saying that she was innocent, not saying that she was pure, anything like that, but you didn't see her attached to anyone.
Well, we gotta
Now,
think though. Most of her career is she. We're just now really getting adult Kiki. Like
exactly.
she's been a. We followed her as a kid for a while, so it's one of those things where now we see. Now we see her as an adult, and then now she done went from adult to a woman, a
Yes,
grown woman.
we are looking at her as a grown woman, and she has tapped into this sex appeal, because
Hmm.
even like her family, they're very very reserved. They're very very reserved. If you ever look at even as an episode of Celebrity Family Feud, and you look at how her mom and her dad were dressed, they're very reserved, suit and tie type of people, church going people. They're very reserved. And now
Mm.
Kiki is just booty, 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 booty rocking everywhere. Why? Because she's not
But
used to.
what was the name of that song? Miss New Booty. She ain't used to.
Exactly.
It's new
And,
to her,
and
and
not
I get
only
it.
that, not only that, this is what she got naturally. She didn't buy any of this stuff. This is
Mm-hmm.
breast milk biscuits and cornbread. This is what that is. This is
Mm-hmm.
motherhood. And she has tapped into what my mother calls that adult weight.
That
That's what
grown
she's tapped,
woman weight.
that grown
Absolutely.
woman weight. And that's what she's
Mm-hmm.
tapped into.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, now again, I can't say that this guy is a lame, and I can't say that he's a sucker. This was a person,
I can.
but here's the
And
thing.
and,
This
and
is a
I'll tell you why. Well, go
this is
ahead.
a person that she decided was good enough to be engaged to. And this was a person who she was so in awe over him, and she was so in awe over their love, and when they became parents to baby Leo, they were just the doting parents. It's the aftermath, and what we're looking at right now is the aftermath of what that motherhood body left her with. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of it's a new toy. It's new toys. Oh my
It,
gosh!
it
Everybody
grown
look.
that grown woman. But I
That's
mean, where I see where he takes his L at is going public with it. Like if I got an issue with something that she was wearing, my thing is that conversation should have been had at the house. Now, who's to say? Because this is how I often saw it happen, playing out of my head, that he did say something about it, and she asked him how much did his last movie gross,
that
and
part.
then you heard crickets, and then she said, "Now I'm going to go see Ursha," because that's how we said in the South, Ursha,
Ursha,
with an extra R in it, as she went to the Ursha show.
right?
And mind you, like I said, Usher said it in the song. Don't leave your girl around me. True player for real. Act for real.
Oh, anyone who's looking, you're not just seeing things. It's a 6-year-old who has infiltrated. Pardon me. Good night. You know better. Goodbye. I
your, your
apologize,
your
you all.
background is so much more eventful than mine.
My background is doing the most right now
It
from
is
and
so much more eventful.
from
So Miss King said, I think they had relationship issue before she went to the Usher show, and she was proving a point to him. Well, if that's the case, point proven.
I mean
She
I mean
won.
the thing is, just like any relationship, you're going to have your battles, and then of course adjusting from when it was just the two of you to now it's three, and how to make that work. And again, here's my thing, because here's one thing: as people were roasting Darius and cracking little jokes about him, let's ask the question. Because here's the question I had: while she's out there bootylicious and all with Usher, who's watching the baby? Was
Darius.
the what was the baby with Darius? So now
Yeah.
while he's sitting here,
Her baby dad.
so now while he's
We can't
sitting
get his
here,
last name right.
while he's sitting here bouncing this beautiful baby boy on his knee. His better half is bouncing her booty on Usher. So it's like,
but the thing is though, he is Usher.
it's Usher.
And what Riley said on the Bulldogs, it could be T.I., but Usher.
Right, and even Tom was like, man, I'm not getting ready to lose but something because you listen to Usher. So it's like what? Why everybody hating on my boy? I love Mr. Raymond, but here's the thing, but she's also a baby. She's also in her 30s. So Usher's in his 40s. So of course that would be a crush.
She's barely in her 30s, isn't she?
Let me see. Because she's around the same age as my nieces. So my oldest niece is 33. Kiki has to be maybe 31. He's probably the same age as my middle niece. So they're all around the same age.
Actually, Kiki's 29. Kiki will be 30 August 26th.
Okay. Oh, okay. So she's close. Okay, got you. So she's
so she's not even 30 yet. So
she's
so you get your grown woman body at 29 after you had this baby.
But look at some of these other ones. Some of these other ones went and bought grown woman body. Trying to look at everybody else. Kiki got it naturally. She got it after the birth of her baby and probably realized that, okay, well, maybe if I do this, because I'm sure, trust me, I know she got an old school mama. So I know that mama told her, you better put on that girdle after she had that baby to get all this contractions, bring all this in. So now here she is with a body. And yeah, she's not used to it. She's young. She's young.
I think where Darius made it, like I said, he made his big mistake by going public with it. You keep your house business in your house. But even if you didn't approve of it, you do not take to social media to try to for what I got from it. You were trying to embarrass her in public.
You know what? I don't even know so much if he was trying to. I don't even know if he was trying to embarrass her or if he was crying out. He wanted a level of attention.
You don't do it in public, though.
Here's the thing. I know not to go public. You know not to go public. But in this day and generation with these youngsters, I'll say youngster, anything teenage to about 33, 34.
I say 35, 36. You want to be real?
so anything, you know what? I won't. I'll say most 30s, contingent on the mentality, contingent on how you were brought up. Because I still see 38-year-old men still do this, but that's what's deemed acceptable. I mean, I can tell you who is arguing right now in their household by going to social media. Somebody's going to post something. Somebody's going to take a shot at something. I saw one young lady, love her dearly. She was mad at her boyfriend one time, and they're not on Facebook together. She had a Facebook page at the time, and I remember her saying she was mad at him because I just texted her to check on her, and then when we saw each other the next day, she told me what was going on because she'll vent to me. I mean, that's one of my hearts right there. Love her dearly. But she was so upset at him. She put a post that said, man, it's days like this where I wish my baby daddy was still alive so he could beat my boyfriend up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I looked at it and I knew at that moment she was venting. But this is what society has deemed appropriate.
But that's not the place. That's not the place. If you want to keep your thing. Now, if y'all just mad for a little while, but you still want to keep this thing, stay off the internet. Do not go to the internet for nothing. Because I'm telling you like this, the internet it'll make you a target. Because when she said, "Oh, my boyfriend done pissed me off," how many dudes tried to slide at her DM telling son, man, if I was your boyfriend, I wouldn't have did you like that. You know what I'm saying? You need to get with a real man like me. You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? So now she's a target. At the same time, guess what? You done shouted him out. Oh, your girl online tripping. I would never put you out there like that. So the DMs is blowing up as we speak.
on
But
both
then
sides.
on both sides, but then now your business in the street.
But like I said, but that goes back to that old school teaching of you never let your right hand know what your left hand is holding. That is not something that is being that's not something that's being taught in today's society with these young women. The first thing they want to do is you can very well tell who's having issues in their relationship because certain images come off Facebook or it comes off Instagram or it comes off Snapchat. Certain images come down. And then that leads people to assume that okay, they're having issues because why? If every time you get into it, you go to social media, now the world kind of knows. I mean, people crack
Mhm.
jokes about it all the time, but we have gotten to a place. But then again, look at what social media tells you. It says if I can't post you, we ain't supposed to be together. Nah, the devil's a liar. My life is my life, and
That's what I'm saying.
especially as educators, we live our life in a bubble. We are open. We try our best to dot every I, cross every T. We try our
Mhm.
best to do certain things. I mean, even like with this platform, they don't see you and I up here just constantly spewing the profanity and just saying different things. Because at the end of the day, we still have young people who look like us and don't look like us. They might see this. So we have to make sure that we dot I's and we cross T's. It's just what we do. But and I've always made up my mind that if my life has to be on display, my professional career has me on display, my personal life belongs to me. You're
Absolutely.
not gonna know what I have going on if
Absolutely.
he and I are rocking out. If we are disagreeing, you're not gonna know because
You
I'm
never
not.
know.
There's nothing about social media to me. There's therapeutic. Nothing.
Mm-mm. If anything, is counter therapeutic.
Yes,
It,
it's
it
toxic.
it works the other way.
It's
So
it's
Stella Marie in the building. What up, Beef? Said according to Google, his last name is Jackson. I got Dalton from his actual Twitter. Like
okay.
that was his Twitter name, but whatever. But they say before this, KP only referred to him as boyfriend and her son's father. She never seemed interested in updating their titles. I mean, if nothing else, that's all what I'm saying. Twitter knew him as before last week and after. Like Darius is technically an upgrade from what we've been calling him.
Right, because it's been it's been Dummy, Sap, Gump.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
And,
I even
and like I
saw
said, that
one,
that was my biggest issue with him. The fact that he went public with it. Like you don't do that. You
but
know,
this is
it's even like, okay, let's just say let's take social media out of it. If we're out somewhere and there's something on you or some distance at the third, I'm not gonna be like, I don't know what that is. That be loud about it. I'm like, hold on, hey, hold up. Hey, you good. All right, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? It's subtlety as possible. As
but sub but subtlety is not being taught in our households. Think about how many there's a young couple that lives not too far from this particular complex right here, and you can tell when they're arguing. Now, from my understanding, they live together, but for whatever reason, whenever they argue, it has to go to the parking lot. Make it make sense. So there are plenty of times where if you got some popcorn and you just want to see a dumb moment, just pop your head out on the terrace because they're gonna be right in the middle of the courtyard acting a doggone donkey. And like, why? And
mm-mm,
why? Because my thing is, so that conversation couldn't have taken place in the four walls. I've
mm-mm.
even, made correction to my godson's mother when she and her boyfriend go back and forth, but sometimes it goes outside, and I'm like, so that had to go outside. That couldn't have been a okay, you go to your corner, I go to mine. That couldn't have been where I'm disagreeing with you, you're disagreeing with me. We're not in the space to come to an agreement. So let's go, hey, you go take your time out. I'm gonna take mine. Let's gather individual thoughts and then come back to them. No, you can hit the parking lot. You can act the food because this seems to be, but look at who your role models are. When Krishan and Blueface are your role models, when every time you turn around, you see couples that are engulfed in toxicity, and this is the foundation. What else do you know? Especially when there's no masculine energy pouring into you as a young woman, because for whatever reason, some people have the idea that only sons need their fathers. No, daughters need to see an example of what they may want to cleave to, of what they may want to go to. It's one thing going from my father's covering to his covering. It needs to be demonstrated to you. So if it's not demonstrated, you're gonna learn the way that a lot of women are learning, unfortunately, creating lineages with this person, that person, couple kids on your kids match, all these different last names up in one household. I mean, this is how a lot of young women are learning. But like I said, I don't know. I think, I give Kiki a major pass just based off of I don't know.
Kiki gets a pass. Darius don't.
But you know what? The reason why I give him a slight pass is because he's young. They're young. And when you're young, you do foolish things because the knowledge isn't there. The wisdom, the knowledge is there. But
you
the
made it
wisdom,
a public foolish thing, though. Yeah. That's my big. That's what gives him that L. You made it.
But he's still a baby. If she's 29,
I'm gonna be honest with you. A baby is 18 and under. Like, these folks is grown. They was grown enough to procreate.
But
they're doing this whole house thing together. Like, I mean, we can't give you youth too long when you're almost 30.
Oh, absolutely. And don't get me wrong. And I'm not giving him a pass as of, oh, well, I understand, because I don't. But then again, my household, my upbringing was different. So I was always taught to conduct myself in a certain way and to be right, not necessarily be popular, be right. However, I don't know if in today's society, what does he come from? What kind of household does he come from? She comes from a 2-parent home. Does he? That makes a difference. It makes a difference sometimes when you meet a person who was raised in love and another person raised in survival. It makes a difference in how they relate and how they communicate in their relationship. So when
you're almost 30, when is it time out for that? And when is it time to grow up?
But
you're almost 30.
You're almost 30. So in his mind, maybe he is at his optimum level. Maybe right now. Maybe he has hit that peak right now. So now what he has to do is
he hit his pinnacle at almost 30. It's sad.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Maybe he is the best that he could possibly be at almost 30. He might need 30 to kick in. He might need 31. He might need to position himself. Like, I saw a post and I understood it wholeheartedly. And it said something about be the dumbest friend in the circle. And when you become the smartest, then we'll change circles. So he may very well need to position himself or get around some men who might say, all right, young blood, now this is what you did wrong. He might need to get him a mentor or two. He might, because if dad is not there, and if mom is like, forget her little ugly self, she ain't always been cute, whatever, you don't know, because he has people that love him too. So at this point, the way he combats this, he has to change for the better. He's young. I remember I didn't speak the same way in my 20s as I do in my 40s. Wisdom kicked in. Life kicked in. I was able to learn some different things, and my foundation was fantastic. But I don't think the same way I did at 20. Life had to kick in, different things came about, and they taught me different life lessons. It taught me a lot about who I am, what I will allow, what I won't allow, but that comes with a level of wisdom. 28, 29 years of age, getting upset and going to social media is what we call the norm. That seems to be
Let's see, I
what,
give you that. I give you that at 18, 19, 20, even 22 maybe. But
what
at 29, 30,
but here's the thing. You can say, you can say, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do this. It's 18, 19. Your foundation might have been better than his. So just so, but again, we don't know much about him outside of who he has a son with. We don't know much
yeah.
about him.
We still don't know his last name for real.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
but
And I think a lot of that's bothering him too because she's getting more of this new attention with this, with this new Kiki body and new
she
Kiki face. And
and
it's like if we didn't know you before, we really don't know you now,
let
cuz.
me tell you, Kiki Kiki has never gotten that attention. And not that I kept in touch with her. I mean, like I said, that picture might circulate. She might say, Daddy, who is this? And he might say, who is that? Because again, I mean, we haven't now, of course, now she knows her Auntie Cece. Because that's family friend, sister's best friend. However, she hasn't always looked the way she has. So
Hmm.
she's tapping into something that is new for her. This is fun. She's getting attention that she's not used to. It's kind of like when you find people that say, it's kind of like the ugly duckling who transformed into the swan. There's a level of maturity that comes with being the swan. She hasn't tapped into it. She hasn't
Mm,
tapped into it yet. So right now, this is fun for her. Oh yeah,
right.
right. Right now, this is fun for her. The booty is out. She booty shaking. This is fun for her. But I guarantee you, based off of her foundation and what I know about her family, you'll start to see her slowly come into a level of modesty within a couple of years. But right now,
She said a couple of years.
oh yeah, a
she
couple of
gotta
years.
she gotta wear this shit out.
She has to. She has to because I mean she has to because again, if she has she's opened up, she's been very, and I'm not making up anything about her. She has been very transparent about some insecurities. And many times when women speak about insecurities, this it goes back to I didn't feel enough. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel sexy. Every woman wants to feel a level of sexiness. Every woman. I don't care even if you were deaconess at the church, you want to feel sexy.
All right now.
So
All right now,
she
that front row.
right, right. So she has tapped into something that she's never experienced. Oh, she gonna milk this for a minute. And I'm not mad at her. However, you a mama. So while you popping booties and stuff, the baby gonna see it. But
Yeah,
again,
and that was one of the things he threw out there. Is like you're a mom, but you said it in. I get it. I get the sentiment. You just don't set it out there in public, bro.
no,
Like
no,
that's the thing. So my boy DJ Four Stripes, aka Sarge, said we were all idiots at 20 something, even Sarge and me.
absolutely,
Oh yeah, we shot out at 20, man. I get it.
absolutely.
I'm gonna make this last one quick, just for the sake of time. I don't even know this dude, all honestly. Like, let's just preface it with that. A rapper that goes by DDG. I don't know DDG. Look, if it ain't Run DMC, maybe an Outcast. Was he an Outcast? He's not an Outcast. I have no idea who he is then.
Right.
So DDG is dating Haley Bailey, and every time I see
Okay.
this girl name, I always want to say Holly Berry, but they're not the same person. Haley Bailey is her
Yeah.
name, Chloe's sister, and she did
Pretty
the
girl.
little, yeah, she did the Little Mermaid. She did Grownish, you know what I'm saying, Grammy nominations all over the place, woo woo, right? So I want to read you the lyrics that he wrote with his sad ass. He takes the
Lord.
last he takes the last L of the night. So his verse goes, I've been so insecure that thinking I be thinking you really be fucking them niggas in the movies with, but but it's a in on the internet. I just be cooling it, but in my head, a nigga really losing it. Gotta be paying good because you keep doing it. Might tweet some just to ruin it. I got a platform, I'm abusing it. It's a couple of things about your job I want to know. When you shoot your movie, do these niggas turn you on? When you leave the set, do y'all still text each other phone? Just because they filming it, it don't mean it ain't wrong.
That goes back to, I think, what we have touched on.
Yeah, that's why he was last.
Equally yoked. Now I don't know who that guy is, and I don't know how he looks or anything like that. But okay, Haley and Chloe have been out only about a few years. Very
Yeah,
beautiful girls.
yeah,
And
they were hey, what was it? Haley and Chloe, the
uh-huh.
twins. They had music and whatnot.
So they're making a name for themselves, And on different ends of the spectrum, you have Chloe, who's more into music, and Haley's acting and things of that nature. So, but again, see, this goes back to lack of parenting, or this goes back to lack of masculine energy being poured into your daughters. I don't know who this rapper is. I don't know him. I don't. However, when you find yourself being with someone that you are not equally yoked, and I don't mean financial, because a lot of men will tell you they don't really care what a woman makes, because in so many ways they still got to be the man. They feel like they still have to do X, Y, and Z. So I don't mean financial. I don't mean clout wise or popularity and all that good stuff. But what I'm saying is they move. What I see that exudes from Haley and Chloe is a level of pure confidence that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Those young ladies, because they haven't subscribed to the ratchet. They haven't subscribed to the ratchet station yet. Now, Chloe might be close, but they really haven't.
I was like, Chloe be pot like this.
Exactly. They have. She's dipped her big toe, but she hasn't.
Oh yeah, with did you ever see the Swarm?
No.
Oh yeah, she put about a kneecap in there. Then
okay, got you.
Yeah, the Swarm got real.
But she hasn't fully. They haven't fully subscribed,
and
so
that's good.
Now,
keep it that way.
So now there's a level of confidence that kind of comes from those young ladies. And if you're attaching yourself to someone who does not have that same level of confidence or that same security that you have, or feels that he is the bee's knees as you feel you are signing up for something that can be detrimental. So it goes back to not being equally yoked. So now you're going to a song that the lyric is, let's be real, this is it's lyrics like this that keeps Andre 3000 in hiatus. Stop putting this stupid shit out here. He will love to come out. We want the true people who love hip hop. We want 3K to come and bless our ears with some of his dope lyrics, but he feels that the hip hop of today is trash. And it's lyrics like that keeps him in his closet.
Yep.
Really, because again, I love me some Big Boy, but Big Boy can't be out here holding the microphone and he keep it. But after a while, he about to embarrass himself, because 3K can do it by himself. Big Boy kind of needs 3K, and I love Big Boy. Let's be real. Don't get me wrong. Now, Kryptonite, I mean, on that Kryptonite, that was tight. But what else has he had behind that? So
he's had 3 very successful solo albums.
I ain't never heard of him. I mean, really? I mean,
Yo, bad, but yeah, Kill Jill on the radio about a few summers ago. He had no matter of fact, what was it? 2 summers ago, he had No Cap, Lowercase. Yeah, yeah.
But
are they Outkast albums? Absolutely not. But they were successful.
But yeah, okay. I mean, all because is Antoine Andre Benjamin, and I love him. So no, he ain't Andre Benjamin. He's Patton. Antoine Andre Patton, and then Andre Benjamin got you. So, but yeah, this is the reason why you got 3 Stacks who hasn't come back out yet because of this foolishness. Even Dr. Dre saying that, you know, he has all these doggone beats and all this stuff that he has, but yet today's music is just trash. He even said it's so bad it scares him. When has Dr. Dre ever been scared of anything? But he said this music is so bad it's scary to him. So, but anyway.
We got JC Rocker in the building. If we're talking about independent artists out here that are actually still saying something in their lyrics, JC Rocker.
That guy right there?
Yeah, right there.
Awesome. But but so now I didn't even know that Haley was dating anybody. I didn't even know that she was. So now the way you make the way you come out is by spitting a terrible lyric about your insecurity, about your mind playing tricks on you.
And see, here's the thing though. She's acting in movies. It could be worse. It could be Adam 22's wife. Because that's really happening. They not playing.
Right. But I don't. But you're so right, Kay. You can't if you decide that you want to be with someone that has a platform, then you have to be secure in yourself. You know, I love that. If you ever listen to Samuel and LaTanya Jackson speak about their marriage, or you ever listen to Denzel and Pauletta Washington speak about their marriage, I love how subtle they are. I love how those men talk about their wives and their wives' level of forgiveness and how they've extended that level of forgiveness to their husbands. And these are men and women who've been together 40 plus years. So I love the fact that they don't give you detail, but within the conversation, you can read between the lines that somebody messed up. Somebody made a poor decision and they were able to keep it going. They were able to live past it. Why? Because subtlety and privacy, to me, is the perfect recipe to save your marriage and to save your relationships. So I love the fact that these women, especially Pauletta Washington, Denzel went through how many decades of being that guy. I mean, you can see now that age is kind of taking a toll, and you know he has a little pudge here or there, but the man's walk, he still has a presence. He still has that. And Pauletta, she's beautiful. But can you imagine if she was an inch shorter? If she was an inch weaker, Denzel would have been divorced. Come on now, she knew what she married. And then once he became a hot throb for not just a couple of years here or there. No, Denzel had that title.
Couple of generations.
For generations. Denzel had that title for years.
It started when he dropped the tear in Glory.
He was that God. So can you imagine if Pauletta was just this much shorter or weaker, what that would have done? Now, Pauletta Washington can sit there with this big, beautiful, gorgeous smile as they celebrate her husband and she dotes on him, and how tears well in his eyes every time he speaks about her and how beautiful she is and the mother that she is, to his children, and even how their son, that their son, he don't play that. What was it? Was it John David? He don't play. If you refer to him, you reference him as Denzel Washington's son, he will correct you. He will say, someone say Denzel, he goes, and Pauletta. Oh no, he will correct you. That baby will get you together about his mama. So, but you can tell that this is something that was taught. Why am I bringing this up? If Pauletta Washington can be cool in her femininity, knowing that she had the hot throb for generations, Haley Bailey's boyfriend, take a chill, relax. You might want to.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, your situation could be worse.
You might want to put a phone call.
You could be Adam 22 right
now. You might want to put a phone call in to Mama Pauletta and say, how come? Well, come on now.
Why for?
Yeah.
According to JC Rocket, she said, to be fair, DDG is a big YouTuber whose career is brought up on the trolling tactics. So he's far from a dummy, just a little immature.
But again, this
goes a lot immature, but I get it.
But this goes back to young women dating men's potential and not their reality.
Shit.
Because I'm sorry.
There it is.
I tell people in a heartbeat when people say, oh my gosh, your personality is so this, or you're this, you're that, and oh my gosh, you aren't married. And I'll tell people in a heartbeat, maybe I have to change my lens, but you don't grow up with the kind of daddy that I grew up with, and what I saw him do for his daughters, and how I saw him love my mother correctly, and how much she loved him. You don't grow up and see that and just gamble with no BS. You just don't, because you know what kind of stock you come from and what you bring to the table. Forget bringing to the table, bitch, I am the table. So, I mean, really. So, yeah. But that again, that goes back to our young ladies not having that masculine energy deposited into their lives that says you better date what you're looking at. Too many women want Build-A-Bears. Too many women say, oh, well, he has the potential to be a good guy. Well, right now he's doo-doo. Can you wait until he graduates from doo-doo? At least Major Payne said, him. You're still a shit sandwich. You just ain't
soggy.
The thing is, you are no longer turds. You have graduated to maggots. So can you wait until that evolution has taken place? Can you wait until they have gone from this to that? We gotta, as women, we gotta teach our daughters. You better start dating reality, and when they show you who they are, believe it. Then you got to ask yourself a question. What they're showing me, is it a deal breaker? And if it's not, keep rolling. But if it is, don't try to take no crayon and color no red flag purple. It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work.
That's real, man. But appreciate everybody that came out to the chat. We got JC Rocker, K Duplessis, B, Sarge, Jihad, yourself, all of them, everybody that I named, and then the ones I made it forgot or what have you, or the ones that's been watching the whole time didn't say nothing. Shout out to y'all too. Appreciate y'all for coming through to Tuesday night's edition of the Planet Period. with me, DJ Agony, and Miss Parker. Miss Parker, let these folks know if you want them to find you, how can they?
I don't want to be found. I'm just playing. Yeah. But you all know where to find me. You can find me on Facebook, where I'm one of those old people. So I religiously look at Facebook and crack jokes and talk trash about sports. Sports are coming up soon. Football's coming up soon. So you can find me first and last name, Stephanie Parker. Is actually, I got to change my image because it's still the same image I had when I was honoring Father's Day. So it was younger picture of me hugging my dad from behind, but Stephanie Parker. And with the caption that reads, I love dad. So I'll be changing my image soon. On Instagram, you can find me at ESDION Enterprises. And that's where I am. So I have a Snapchat, but that's kind of more for my life of being a narc at work. When my students tell me, Miss Parker, somebody had a fight. It's on Snapchat. Want to see? I said, send it to me. So I am not on Snapchat for anything personal. That's my side hustle as a narc, because for whatever reason my babies tell me things and I'm like, you do realize I'm a teacher, right? You do realize that I'm mandated. But because I have their heart and I have their trust, and they kind of know what I'm going to do with it. But I have a Snapchat for that very reason, so I can't give that out, because that's strictly for my side hustle. But you can find me.
The word is extort.
I'm a narc. I'm sitting, but it's fucking. They'll send me. I'm like, is this a fighting video? Hold on, here we go. Then I gotta, move it up the channel and try my best to stop and intervene as well. So of course, it's not about setting these babies up for failure, but really sitting them down, saying, yeah, this right here is dumb. This right here can kind of like change the trajectory of your life. So we don't want to find any more videos of you out here acting the fool, especially in the bathroom. You hit your head on that porcelain, you're going to the ER, guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So let's be smart. Room. Let's be smart. So addition to me sending those images up to the right place, is I take it as teachable moments. And they understand before the big people come and get them that, yeah, it's in their hands and this was going to happen. But yeah, this is beneath you. We can't do this. So anyway, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, here on Tuesday or Thursday nights, just depending on when the planning period is going to go forth.
That's what I'm saying. It could end up on a Monday or a Wednesday as well. Just never know what's going to happen, man. I get struck with the idea, and I'm just like, yo, where's your free night? And then boom, we here. You know what I'm saying? Follow me everywhere at Dope Enterprise on Facebook, Dope Enterprise on YouTube, Dope.Enterprise on Instagram. And I'm on Threads now too. I just don't know what it is. But yeah, follow me on Threads, because it's kind of like Twitter, but not Twitter. It's like IG Twitter. So yeah, follow me on Threads. I think Threads is under my IG. So if you follow my IG, you can find me on Threads under the same name. But yeah, Dope Enterprise on YouTube, Dope Enterprise on Facebook, Dope.Enterprise on IG. Just be on the lookout. We will be back here soon. The Gamers Alley will be back soon. Planet Period. We'll probably do something soon for, say, to celebrate hip hop or whatever, because I am still a DJ, just know I'm a 2-time award winning DJ.
You better put it out there. Better let them know.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely, man, just be in touch, man. And as I end every show, imitation is the sincere form of flatter that mediocrity can pay to greatness. I am DJ Agony. That is Miss Parker. She keep her business to herself. So do I. And we out. Peace.
Have a good one.